Programming on 90.7 WKGC and the Commodore Sports Network is sponsored by Sweet Bay. Sweet Bay is a bayfront village in Panama City that features parks, walking trails to the water, a future town center, and more. A community connected at the water's edge, Sweet Bay. More information about Sweet Bay online at sweetbayfl.com or 844-35-SWEET.
Welcome, Commodore fans, to Coach's Corner, a production of Gulf Coast State College and the digital media program. Coach Rory Khun and I will talk about Lady Commodores and how their season came to in the end and all kinds of fun things in the next 30 minutes. Lady Commodores finished 19-10 overall, number 2 in the panel conference, ranked number 3 in the state coaches poll, and ranked 23rd in the NJCA national poll. So when the regular season finished, Coach, we were tied with Chipola, so we had a playoff game. Had to go to a neutral floor, Northwest, and I was out of town because I never dreamed we would have a playoff game in the middle of that. So I scheduled to go do my other job here at the college and was in Clearwater. So, but anyway, we got a chance to play Chipola for the 4th time. And so, what a well of a game that was, a 74-73 overtime win.
Yeah, overtime win for sure. I mean, that was a big one. That's the 3rd time out of 4 that we beat them. And yeah, it was a heck of a game, gutsy, you know, just a little back and forth, and we wound up pulling it out in overtime. But I mean, that was just a tough game. But you know, you played for outright 2nd place, and you know, we wound up coming out on top of that. And you know, we played good enough to win that game. So
in that case, but to talk about it a little bit, to beat Chipola 3 times in one season.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's been done a lot. If we look at the panel conference standings, they put that up for our TV, you know, panel conference. Northwest finished 10-2. Gulf Coast was 8-5. Chipola was 7-6. Pensacola finished 6-6, and Tallahassee went 0-12, which is kind of unusual for that.
That's usually unusual.
So, but because we were tied, we did that. But let's talk a little bit about the game itself. Overtime win. Smith with 18 points. She must have had a big night that night.
She had a big night, you know, kind of played like a sophomore that night, not a freshman. You know, stepped up, hit some big shots. I think she rebounded the ball pretty well for us that night too. But yeah, she was great. I mean, so like, as I said, like all year, she's kind of been growing up before our eyes, and that was one of the games where she was growing up as a sophomore that game, so she looked pretty good and helped us win. And you know, I think Morgan was her normal self there.
Got 20.
Got her 20 points, and you know, we got some contributions from.
And Cracknell finished with doubles with 11 points.
From Abby, who you know, hit some key threes and you know, handled the ball pretty well at times. So. Yeah, I mean, it was a team effort, and we pulled that one out. I mean, you know how hard it is to beat a team. To beat a team 3 times. It's hard enough to beat a team like Chipola 2 times. You know, the fact that we got it done 3 times is, you know,
it's kind of amazing. Now, if we look at that game, we got to talk about this game, Coach. We got 30 minutes, so we
got time.
We're going to spread this out a little bit. Now, turnover-wise, we turned them over 17 times. They turned us over 30.
30, yep.
And we still won.
And we still won because I think, you know, you like the stats. What was the rebounding numbers? I think
let's look at total rebounds. They had 33. We had 50.
And that made up with those turnovers. We limited them one and done, and you know, took care of them on the boards there that game. So that was the, you know, kind of balanced out those turnovers. Would I like to have less turnovers? Absolutely, but you know, dominating on the glass like that is always a good key.
And our bigs have gotten better and better and better as the season went on.
They have. You know, Musha got a lot better and, you know, settled in, and Ava even, you know, got a lot better, you know, rebounding more and becoming more comfortable, you know, as the season went on. So.
And then we always talk about in a close game, normally it's decided from the free throw line.
Yeah.
It was. We were 27 of 40 for 67.5%, which is not a great free throw shooting.
Not great.
But on the other hand, they were 11 of 25 for 44% from the free throw line.
Yeah.
Got better from the line?
A little bit better from the line there, you know.
Yeah.
And I think we make more than they attempted, right? So, we made more than they attempted. Always a good, you know, key usually to a win, if that is the case, and that kind of played out in the stats there.
Yeah, well, we had those same kind of numbers when we lost up there. They were flipped.
Yeah.
Like that. So.
Yeah.
And if we look at shooting for the game, 21 of 48 from the floor, 43.8%.
Yeah.
A good shooting night from the floor. Even from behind the arc, 5 of 14 for 35.7%.
Yeah.
So in that stage, not bad. They were 28 of 69 for 40.6% from the floor, and 6 of 20 from behind the arc for 30.
Yeah.
Their leading scorers, McLaughlin with 20, you had Bryant and Muhammad with 10 apiece, and Wright Gaskins with 16.
Yeah, she had a good game that game.
Wright Gaskins could have been a Commodore player last year.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded.
So in that case, we'll back up, look at the game by the quarters. And they got us the first quarter 20-14. Second quarter, we come back, got them 18-13. Third quarter, we got them 20-17. Mm-hmm. Fourth quarter, they got us 17-15. And the most important is in the overtime, we got them 7-6.
7-6. So. And the interesting part, I know you weren't there about that overtime, was they went up on a 6-0 run in overtime. And I think we closed it out on a 7-0 run. Wow. So we wound up going down and coming back, you know, showing resilience and toughness, and we're able to, you know, pull that out. So that was a really good win. The girls were excited, and, you know, they deserved it. You know, like I said, outright, you know, you finished second place in the best conference in the country with a team that's been together for 6 or 7 months.
So in that case, you know, largest lead, Chipola led by 8. Second quarter, Gulf Coast led by 12 deep into the third quarter.
Yeah, we went on a big run there in the third to start it, and they answered that run, and then we answered back with our own run in overtime. So.
And then score was tied 6 times, lead changed 11 times. So
it was a back and forth game.
It was back and forth. And so they got after it, and you know, that's a big win. And sometimes they say when you have a big win, it's hard to rebound back for the next game, because the next game was our Region 8 first game. So we played, actually we'll talk about how the bracket seeded out, then we'll come back and talk about the game. Eastern Florida came in the number 2 seed. They played the number 7 seed, which was Daytona State.
Yeah.
Gulf Coast, number 3 seed, played Indian River, the 6th seed. Northwest, the number 1 seed, played Hillsburg, the 8th seed. Florida Southwestern, the 4 seed, played Chipola, the 5 seed. So when we came in, we had that big win against Chipola. Came in against a scrappy, their guard play, they were small, but they were good. Their post play was really good in that game. So we came up short, 72-65.
Yeah, no, they were, like you said, a very scrappy team. And, you know, we played them earlier in the year. We beat them, you know, so I think, you know, a lot of times, like you said, when that happens, and then you come off a big emotional win, there's always kind of a letdown. And then there's about 10 days in between there where we're not playing. You know, there's a waiting time. And, you know, I told the girls after the game, you know, with the exception of Morgan and Ava, who was the only returner, nobody else on that floor that was playing has ever been in a playoff situation like that, ever, because they're all true freshmen. So, you know, I think, I don't want to say nerves, but just a little flat when we came out. We were just a little bit, you know, flat. And, you know, we just couldn't get it done. And, you know, we went down 13 at one point, but we erased that deficit and then took the lead. Like we always, when we got the lead, we could never extend it and get over the hump. But yeah, their post play inside, you know, really hurt us, as you said. We knew the other 2 guards were pretty good, but their post play with the kid Jenkins wound up, you know, making a big impact on that game.
Yeah, she had double, 12 points, 12 rebounds.
Yeah.
And so she was good in the paint.
And the hard part is too, and you know, it's tournament time. When a team gets hot at the right time, they get hot at the right time, and they were clearly hot. They beat us. They beat Eastern Florida in the next round. You know, they made it to the championship, and then kind of came back down to reality when they met Northwest Florida. Yeah. So. But yeah, no, I mean, you know, it was a tough game. Obviously, you know, you wanted to go different. You for us. But yeah, it was just one of those games. Ran into a hot team, and we couldn't get it over the hump there that day.
And so if we look at scoring for us, Morgan with 23, Smith she had 13. Not the game she had before that, but still double figures for her. Matter of fact, Morgan had double-double. She had 12, 23 and 12 rebounds, so a good night for her, and played all 40 minutes.
Yeah. Tournament time, we've asked Morgan to do everything all year, and then, in playoffs and tournament, she knows she's not going to get any rest. And as much as she knows that, guess what? The other teams know that too, and they throw 2-3 people at her.
Yeah, she had a shadow from baseline to baseline.
Yeah.
And they rode her, and when you ride them, that just wears you down because you're having to carry the weight of that defender.
Oh yeah.
And if the officials don't call it, she's exhausted at the end of the game.
I was pleading my case. They weren't listening too much that game.
So some of those officials were definitely interesting in there. Cracknell finished with 10, so not bad. If we look at rebounds, 39 to 38, so they were one rebound better than us.
So we lost that rebound and more.
Turnover, they had 19, we had 17, so we were hanging in there. But if we look at the game by the quarters, we won. We actually came out, and it was 5-0 to start with, and I thought, okay, we're just going to run.
Yeah.
And then when they made that first run, they went, oh, we can play.
Yeah. And that was one of the things I had talked about with them, take away their confidence early. Yeah. When you do go up, like you said, 5-0, hey, maybe you get another stop here and go up, and then it changes the complex. But they come down, hit a 3, and now they think they can play with you, and, obviously they proved that they could.
Good.
But yeah, confidence is a huge thing, and they wound up getting off to a pretty good start. And like I said, we couldn't extend when we did take that lead. We never extended it to like double figures.
And then in the second quarter, they got us 18-10, but now the third quarter, we got them 25-18, but we had to use up a lot of fuel to get back in the game.
We were down 13, and then I started to press, and once we started to press, we made up that deficit. We did it like within a matter of 2 minutes, but yeah, you got to use a lot of energy. Excuse me, a lot of energy, to overcome, the hole you put yourself in. And then when you do that, like you said, Morgan's playing 40 minutes. And
in that case, the fourth quarter they got us 22-11 to go on to 72-65. They led by as much as 12 in the third quarter, and we led by 5. That was at first when we got there. But once they started running. Score was tied 5 times, 5 lead changes. If we look at their bench outscored our bench.
Yeah.
But our bench is really short.
I know.
12-7.
You don't have to remind me of that. I know.
Second chance point. They got 19-6.
Yeah.
Now points off turnovers, we both got 20 apiece. So
we turned them over quite a bit. But like you said, when you don't win the rebounding war. And they got those second chance points with extra rebounds. And
so in this case now, here's an impressive number. In the paint, we scored 42. They scored 36.
Yeah.
So our bigs were doing a little better, as a matter of fact. Miller with 8 points, which were her.
Yeah.
As a good night for her. And let me look and see. She had. Now on the other side, Campbell, one of the guards, had 16.
Yeah.
Logston had 17, and Beebe had 12.
Yeah.
And so
between Habib and Jenkins, the two big kids, if you limited them a little bit, those Logston and Campbell, they average that. That's their average. So they hit their average, but if you take away the other two, or just one of them doesn't get their average, it's a different game, and we probably win that. But they were pumped up, ready to play, and like I said, they were a hot team at the hot time.
Yep, and they came in, and once they realized they could play, they started playing. If we look at their shooting from the floor, 27 of 60 for 45%, 4 of 12 for 33% behind the arc, and 14 of 21 from the free throw line for 66.7.
Yeah.
We were 23 of 62 for 37.1, 2 of 14 from behind the arc, 14.3. Now, shot well from the free throw line, 17 of 21 for 81%. That really kept us in there several times.
Yeah.
And there's been several games that when we really needed some free throw or points, that's where we got them from.
Right.
So, but we came up short, so that finished the Lady Commodores thing. Let's talk about how that Region 8 bracket played out.
Yeah.
And let me restart all this because we're doing a double show here. So we'll roll on to the other side. Eastern Florida State beat Daytona State 61-48. Naturally, we just talked about how we lost to Indian River. Indian River turned around and beat Eastern Florida State 61-59. And I thought Eastern Florida State would have won that game myself. But that's why you play the game.
Yeah.
You know, because the game they played before that, they won 61-48. They were firing on all cylinders.
Yeah. You know, it was funny because a couple people are asking me, who do you think's going to win that next game? And I said Indian River's going to win.
Oh.
And I said because they're hot. And to be honest, that team, Indian River, they at least, you know, they played us before. They played Florida Southwestern. They played some real competition, and they're going at the right time, and they were hot. And the way those guards were playing and their bigs were coming along. I mean, that game, I think they were up by as much as 11 or 9 on Eastern Florida. So, I mean, yeah, they got hot. They took care of business.
So Indian River advanced to the championship game. We'll go down Northwest. Now, they played Hillsburg, the number 8 seed.
Yeah.
And that was a 64-60 win.
Yeah.
Now, here's a case where they had a long layoff, too.
Yeah.
Maybe a little rusty that night?
I would think so. I mean, they were a little rusty. I mean, I think what I heard that they were down in the fourth quarter to them, you know, and they came back and weathered the storm, and then they left no doubt about who the best team in the state was.
Well, in that case, and then you got Chipola playing Florida Southwestern. Chipola won 63-61 in overtime.
Overtime, yeah.
And so Florida Southwestern played a good game. So that made Northwest and Chipola play again.
Yeah.
So Chipola had a playing game against us, and then had to play Northwest again.
Yeah.
So, and could see Northwest again in that national tournament.
Yeah, they could.
And so, but Northwest got them 68-51. Now the championship game, Northwest defeated Indian River 81-40.
Back to reality.
So,
you know.
So in other words, and you know, that's kind of how that played out in there. Now we got the national tournament bracket.
Yeah.
First thoughts on the national tournament bracket?
First thoughts were I couldn't believe that we weren't in it.
That was going to be my first one. Is I don't see Gulf Coast here.
I don't see Gulf Coast in there. So I mean, that was the tough part. You know, for us, I mean, you look at, you know, Chipola goes and Eastern Florida with that large bids over us, and you know, it's just hard to swallow when you beat a team in your conference and you finish ahead of them. You know, 3 out of 4 times, and then you look at Eastern Florida, who you've also beaten. You know, and you know, it's just the hard part as a coach. You got to tell your kids that, you know, hey, you weren't chosen, and you know, this is the reality. It's you know, an unfortunate life lesson that you know, things aren't always necessarily fair, but you know, you gotta pick up the pieces and move forward. But you know, I feel bad for our kids. You know, and that's just as a coach, and you know, I look at the rest of the teams in here. I mean, I think we are 6-2 against all these teams that are in here. You know, we've beaten the overall 3rd seed, lost to the 2nd seed. You know, beat Northwest Florida by the biggest, you know, margin of any team this year. So there's no question in my mind that if we were in this tournament, we'd have a chance to win it. And you know, that's the hard part looking at it. But you know, it should be some good games. I mean, I would think looking at it overall, I would think the 2 best teams, being that we've played pretty much everybody in this, the top competition, you know, that I would think Northwest and Chipola you might see in a Final Four, and I think Shelton State and Georgia Highlands you could see in a Final Four. You know, and I believe Northwest and Shelton State are probably the two best teams in my opinion, I think, out of all these the teams in here, and have a good chance to go. But it'll be anybody's tournament, as you know.
Oh, well, in that case, let me look at something. There was some, the thing that, let's talk about Northwest for a little bit. Got the 4 seed. You know, South Plains will take care of North Dakota.
Yeah.
South Plains is like playing a home game for them.
Yeah.
Because they're right there, and every time we had to play South Plains, it was like a home game.
Yeah.
So that'll be an interesting game. Northwest gets past South Plains.
Yeah. And the good news is they've already beaten them twice already this year by like 40 points or something.
So in this stage, then if you look at the bottom part of it, well, there's really nobody in the bottom part of that bracket that's going to do to that. So they're going to make it to the semis.
I would expect that. Yeah.
And like you said, now when Chipola plays in this, you would expect them to come out of the top. South Georgia Tech will come out. So
Yep.
the only concern I have for Chipola is if you have a well officiated game, that's not in Chipola's favor.
Yeah, I mean it all depends too, like how they. You never know with the officials how they're going to call the game.
How they're going to call it, because Chipola's going to get in your grill. They're going to play and do that, and when you get out there, sometimes those officials in that league, if you bump, touch, sneeze, they call it.
Yeah.
So
he sneezed the wrong way.
And in that case, but I suspect they probably will come out of there. And you're right, they're going to play in the semifinals against Northwest.
I think that they're good enough to make it to the Final Four and play Northwest again. So
in that case, you're going to probably see that. And like you said, Shelton State.
I would find it hard to believe if any team in that bracket could beat Shelton State.
Now, you got New Mexico sitting down there.
New Mexico, yeah.
Coach Medford he was Rooney's assistant, so they play that same style of ball out there. Get up and down the floor, run, and they don't traditionally, so they got a shot at Shelton State.
They've got a shot.
Now, one of their bigs is down right now. I understand has a concussion, may not play. So that really
got some inside scoop out west there, James. That's pretty good.
Look at that, So in other words, that could affect them because you know what it's like. Had we had Boyd,
yeah.
Our name probably would be on this list right now.
We play our last 8 games without our second leading scorer. Yeah.
And so Boyd could have dealt with Jenkins, and we'd been there, but that may. Coach Medford may have his hands full there.
Yeah.
Hutch, we'll give Georgia Highlands a run.
Yeah.
And Trinity Valley, they're not what they used to be, but they're still
good.
They're still good. So, but I'm like you. I think Shelton State and Georgia Highlands comes out of the place in the semi, and then
it would be interesting if it does go the way that me and you kind of think it could. The Final Four could be 4 teams that we played, and we've beaten 3 out of the 4.
So in that case, it comes down. Shelton State been there. I think they may actually make it to the
out of all the teams that we played, we played them too without Boyd. She was hurt that game. I thought the best interior post play of any team we had, of kids that could just get on the glass, rebound, finish around the rim. I think Northwest has better guards. Chipola better guards than them. Georgia Highlands probably better guards, but their interior play and their guards aren't bad. They're good enough, but they were a real, and like every team when they play us, it's their Super Bowl. They want to beat us. They were ready to go. I mean, so I imagine tournament time. She's a good coach, and she'll have them prepared. And I think they're really, really good. They got a chance, in my opinion, to win it all.
Yeah, I think they make it to the championship game. Yeah. I would say Northwest is going to have to fight, but that last game when they decided they wanted to play and won 81-40.
Yeah.
If they put their chemistry back together, because there for a while they was something. When Poland's not scoring double figures and things just wasn't clicking. They were struggling.
Yeah.
Now, if they build on that, then they'll make it out the other side.
They could be the team putting it all together at the right time, playing their best basketball with all the talent that they do have. So they're extremely dangerous.
And so. But you still got Chipola out there.
You can't count Chipola out.
If it's a game they let them play, Chipola's going to rule.
Yeah, they're going to win.
Because their defense and the pressure they're going to apply is definitely going to cause some problems there.
It absolutely will.
And so, but like you talked about, we're not there. We're all disappointed.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, Coach, in July we weren't sure we'd have a team.
Very true.
And we finished second in the panel conference, beat Chipola 3 times, short bench, injuries, and we had our shots.
We had our shots.
You know, so I think if you win had we won the first game in that regional tournament, then I think we get that out of it. You know, because, you know, you could be Indian River. Some folks will say, well, Indian River didn't get in. Well, Indian River wasn't even ranked nationally.
Yeah.
So how do you take a team that's not ranked nationally and skip over the folks that are ranked nationally?
Right.
Now, one of the ways you could eliminate this, because we got a team in here that's 14-14 overall.
Yeah.
May not win a game in the panel conference.
Yeah.
There's several areas that may not win a game in the panel conference.
We played them earlier in the year too. It was 20 or 30, whatever we won by. I don't really remember.
So no worries. But now they're at the national tournament because their region is not as strong as the panel conference. So everybody's going to send one.
Yeah.
And this was supposed to be, used to you had to win it, or you didn't advance.
Right.
So they went to, okay, let's put more games in there.
Yeah.
And so we started picking and doing things. But if you really, truly wanted to pick the best, the last national poll, if you drew a line and said 25th, we're sorry, these are 24th teams, and this is how we're going to seed it, and this is how we're going to play it.
Right.
What do you think about that?
I would be fine with that.
Yeah, because we'd be playing.
We'd be in here.
We'd be in here, so.
Yeah, either that or, I mean, I honestly believe that they could expand the tournament to 32 teams.
So.
Or do something just for our region in Florida, because you know the best teams come out every year.
Yep.
And, you know, I think if there's an extra bid, you know, there's no debate. Obviously, we're there. But there's also, you know, let's not discount anything Pensacola did all year. I mean, you feel for them in a sense, too. I mean, they're one of the best. They could easily go to this tournament and beat half these teams.
Yep.
And they don't even get a chance to go because they didn't qualify for the state tournament. So, I mean, I do think something needs to be looked at somewhere, you know, whether adding more teams or adding more bids, or, you know, what you said, I just put the top 24 if that national poll means something. But, you know, this is the way it is, and it is what it is. And, you know, all in all, I think we, you know, like you said, you know, from July, not having a team and, you know, 2 kids on a team, and, you know, we've been together 6 months, and you finished second place, and you've beaten almost half these teams in the national tournament. You know, it's a pretty good year overall.
In this stage, we only have a little bit of time left out of this 30 minutes. Recruiting.
Yep.
How's it going?
Well, the best part is pretty early right now. And
got plenty. You got several months head start.
What month are we in?
March.
March. So we got, you know, March, April, May, June, July, August. This year I didn't start recruiting until 6 months from now. So, you know, we put a team together in 2 weeks, so we got a lot of time. But I'll just, you know, I'll be working the phones, picking up, see who's in the transfer portal. You know, people have been calling me already about a couple kids, and it's just a matter of getting the right pieces, combining them with who we have returning, those types of things. But yeah.
But now, question: do we know who's returning yet, or are you still too early?
I have. Let's see here. You know, obviously Morgan has to go, and Musha has to go, and Peyton Gray, our 3 sophomores, will go. So you have 3 right there. As of right now, from what I'm told, a lot of the freshmen in a couple of conversations all want to come back. So, I mean, I won't say no to that.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
all right,
so we're going to put it all together. I'm going to have some meetings now and just figure some things out. But, you know, we'll be back ready to go next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
So for Coach Rory Khun, I'm James Baxley. Thanks for watching, Commodore fans, and we'll see you next time on the Commodore Sports Network.